Merci, plutôt naturel, puisqu'on continue en parlant de intelligence artificielle. Bon, I'm using English in this case. This initiative resolution is called Shaping the EU External Action to Address Challenges to Human Rights Posed by Artificial Intelligence. This is indeed the first AFET and DROA non-legislative report on artificial intelligence, and it's, in my opinion, a very timely report because anything related to the artificial intelligence is increasingly present and relevant for the daily life of our citizens. Every week we can read the news concerning, for example, armed conflict. We have been dealing with the issue extensively prior to this point, but also the artificial intelligence being used as a tool for strategic influence, economic competition, or foreign interference. It was due time for DROA, for our subcommittee, to address this topic, especially because the issue has been raised recently with very prominent cases of the grok nudity case. That means every person in the world could be affected by a misuse of artificial intelligence, and because we have been a little bit lazy on artificial intelligence and human rights compared to the United Nations and the Council of Europe. These institutions, they started working human rights and artificial intelligence more than a decade ago. We, at the European Union level, we have for sure, and we have been talking about the AI Act, now the AI Omnibus, but as we heard a minute ago from the Commission representative in the prior debate, the approach to the artificial intelligence has been mainly related to internal market, that we have to extend the scope and introduce our rational, our political thinking about artificial intelligence and the external dimension of the European Union. And in the current moment of the world with this geopolitical climate, it could be an opportunity to really develop with some friends and partners in the world some AI systems that are compliant with human rights as a complementary way to tackle the growing presence of the authoritarian narratives. The core of the paper is to reflect on challenges, but also on the opportunities of the artificial intelligence. I tried to avoid this ludite approach, thinking that any progress is inherently dangerous. In my view, artificial intelligence is not inherently evil, but has, on the contrary, could help to advance human rights if there is a careful design, test, and deployment of the system. The report is structured as follows. First, address general considerations, then list the main risk, and then some provisional proposal. Among the challenges to human rights posed by artificial intelligence is well known: data privacy and discrimination, surveillance, women's rights and gender equality, children's rights, migration, labour and environmental risk, transnational repression, business and human rights, and we talked recently automated weapon system. The report also addresses artificial intelligence and democracy and the role of artificial intelligence in electoral processes. And finally, is some provisional proposals include an holistic strategy for the EU external action, to reinforce in the EU toolbox the need to develop a strong and resilient European Union ecosystem that reduces strategic dependencies and reinforces strategic autonomy, maybe developing open source a system, supporting the United Nations and the Council of Europe, and calling for the United Nations effort to create a legally binding agreement to globally regulate the use of lethal autonomous weapons. I would like to thank my shadow fellow rapporteurs because I distribute to them what we call the long draft version, the working draft version, and we expect to start negotiation after the summer and vote the paper, if this is the case, to the end of the year. Thank you for your amendments and your improvements to this provisionally draft paper. Thank you.